There's a silence that doesn't comfort. It haunts. It creeps in when the noise of life fades, when the people leave, when the goals collapse, when the mask you wore for years finally cracks. And suddenly, you're alone with something you don't recognize. Yourself. This is the moment no one prepares you for. Not school, not family, not even the books you read to feel less alone. It's the collapse, not of the world, but of your illusion of control. You stare at the ceiling at 2 a.m. and wonder, was any of it real? This is what most call rock bottom. But that's not what it is. It's the door, and it only opens when everything else falls away. Because underneath the chaos, beneath the layers of identity, opinion, expectation, there's something untouched, something ancient, something unbreakable. You only meet it when your world turns black. And in that blackness, a strange flicker begins to glow. Not hope, but clarity. You realize your pain isn't proof of weakness. It's proof you were meant to go deeper. This is not the end. This is the beginning of becoming someone you never imagined. And in that darkness, a voice rises. You are not lost. You are being remade. There's a part of you you've tried to forget, not because it's evil, but because it's raw, untamed, real. It's the part that felt too much as a child, the part that got silenced in rooms full of rules and fake smiles, the part that kept asking, why does this feel wrong? But no one had an answer, so you buried it, and the world applauded. They said, you've matured. They said, you've moved on. But the truth is, you amputated the most honest part of yourself to survive. That's the shadow, not a monster, not a flaw, but the unspoken truth of who you are, trapped beneath years of pretending, and it waits quietly until your life falls apart just enough for it to surface, not to destroy you, to free you. Facing the shadow isn't easy. It shows you everything you didn't want to see, the rage, the grief, the loneliness that no achievement could fix. But here's the twist. In that shadow is your power, your voice, your fire, your freedom. The pain you've been avoiding holds the map back to yourself. And once you stop running, you'll hear what it's been trying to tell you all along. I was never your enemy. I was your truth. There comes a moment when pretending becomes more painful than truth. You wake up one day and realize the mask doesn't fit anymore. Smiling feels like lying. Agreeing feels like betrayal. And success? It tastes hollow, like chewing gold dust with an empty soul. This is the moment most people fear. Because once you stop pretending, everything changes. The roles you played start to dissolve. You're no longer the peacemaker, the performer, the achiever. You become something simpler, but also far more dangerous. You become authentic, and authenticity threatens the entire system. Because people don't want the real you, they want the version that makes them comfortable. So when you finally step out of the script and speak your truth, they won't clap. They'll flinch. They'll try to pull you back into the story you no longer belong to. Let them. Because this is your turning point. You are no longer living for their comfort. You are living for your truth. And truth doesn't need approval. It only needs one thing: courage. When you stop pretending, pain doesn't vanish, but it becomes honest. And honest pain transforms. It shows you where you've been bleeding, where you've been shrinking, where you've been hiding from. Your own fire. And when that fire finally ignites, it doesn't burn you. It becomes you. This is where your real life begins. The one no one gave you permission to live. No one celebrates the quiet rise. There's no spotlight, no music swelling in the background, no one cheering as you stand up silently from the floor where you once fell apart. But that's where the real story begins. Not in the recovery the world notices, but in the shift only you can feel, the first deep breath after weeks of numbness. The moment you open your eyes and realize you're still here, not fixed, not triumphant, but awake. True strength is invisible at first. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's the decision to keep going when no one's watching, to rebuild a life that feels real, even if it costs you everything that felt familiar. Because here's the truth. The darkest moment didn't break you. It stripped away the noise so you could hear your soul again. Now you know who you are when there's nothing left to lose. Now you carry power that doesn't scream. It radiates. The kind of power that can't be taken. Because it wasn't given. You've walked through your own fire. You've held your shadow. You've dropped the mask. And now, you rise. Not as who the world wanted, but as who you were meant to be. There's no applause, just silence. And in that silence, peace. Because when you've met yourself in the dark, nothing can scare you anymore. The most unstoppable force is a soul that remembers who it is. One line CTA, you don't need the light to rise. You only need the courage to move in the dark.